Intro music. Product review time, guys. Today we're going to jump straight into it. The Bianchi Oltre XR3 Disc. Now, a few disclaimers before we get cracking. Yes, we are sponsored by Bianchi. Yes, this is a bike that I've been borrowing for the last 6 months. I will definitely review the disc specific group set in the next couple of months, but I do want to try and keep this about the frame. All right, let's get cracking. The review of the Bianchi XR3 Oltre Disc. Bianchi put this bike in that really annoying category of, well, leisure race bike. I don't really know what that means. I think they're trying to get to the fact that you could go and do a club race, but you'd be just as happy riding it on a Saturday, Sunday coffee ride as you would be in a 6-hour Fondo. In the Bianchi family tree, this guy sits, well, just below the XR4 and just above the full-out Aero Aria bike. But what does that actually mean in practical sense? Well, in terms of geometry, guys, this thing is borderline exactly the same as the XR4. Slightly lower at the front end with a slightly longer wheelbase. To point out how similar the geometry is, that seat post is exactly the same seat post that is on the XR4. They are interchangeable. I know, I've interchanged them. The other difference here is, well, the weight. The weight of this particular frame is around 1,200 grams as opposed to just around 1,000 grams on the XR4. I just did all those positives and I forgot the most important one. That's so annoying. All right, what does the XR3 do really well? Well, the first thing, guys, it's stiff.
Christ, this bike is stiff.
You definitely get the sense that every last minute amount of wattage you are putting into this bike is definitely going into taking you forward. I love this geometry. It's actually set up lower and longer than the XR4. So you can theoretically say I've set this up more aggressively than the XR4. That sort of builds into the third thing, guys, which is tire clearance. I know that is something that comes off the back of the disc brake thing, but the fact that you can put 32s on this, rode that at Gravel and Tar, the UCI race, and have kept them on. I really do like running those bigger tires. That kind of goes into the next positive, guys, which is, it's hard to describe, but it's fun. It is actually a really fun bike to ride. I don't know why, but like, you know, I would sit there and look at the two bikes and say, oh, which one will I ride today? Ridiculous choice. But I will often just take this out because it just seems more fun. The next thing, guys, is, well, the look. I really do love the look of this particular bike. The design, the little flashes of Celeste, I love it. And the last thing, well, I don't know if it's this bike does really well, but it's the build. So you have a lot of build options. Wherever you live, really, Bianchi do a lot of different build options for this bike. You can put the top end stuff on, you can put the bottom end stuff on. It doesn't really matter. It's really easy to build. So I choose to race the XR4. The main reason for that, guys, well, is the weight. So that bike that you can see behind me is about 7.7 kilos. Now, given only 200 or 300 grams of that is the frame, the rest of it being, well, the disc build, it still translates to a heavier bike. So for me, that weight is something that, well, it is a downside. It just has to be. The second thing, guys, and look, I'm always at pains to talk about like the stiffness stuff because people can kind of misconstrue it a little bit. The thing that you have to be careful with a bike that is this stiff, if you pump the tires up too much, then you're gonna get a lot of road buzz. I will run these sort of tires at around 70 PSI, which is a perfect money spot for me. If I get that up to around 80, 85, I really notice a difference. The third thing, guys, if you look at this frame, it is not a purely aero frame. The tubing is not that sort of cone shape that I think we've all now become pretty familiar with as the pure aero frame. And the reason I bring this up is, well, it's not an out and out aero bike. It's clearly not an out and out climbing bike. It's doing something quite well and something quite well, but not everything amazingly, if you know what I mean. Because, you know, you're going to skip to the end of this and be like, well, do I buy it? Do I don't buy it? I don't know, because I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, I love riding this bike. It's super fun to ride. I'm going to go ride this afternoon. But I am not going to go and race this at Grafton to Inverell. I think this comes back to, well, the brands. A lot of these Italian brands, like, yes, there is like heritage in these frames, in these bikes, and that does mean something to me. I'm sure that exists with something like Ferrari. It definitely exists with stuff like City and Campi. You see that Celeste frame bike, you see that red Ferrari, and there is something more to it than just performance. I know that sounds so douchey, doesn't it? That said, it's still not a cheap bike. Like here in Australia, we're still looking at for an Ultegra disc build around $7,000, which is a lot of money for a bike. You will not be let down by the feeling you get riding this bike. If you did enjoy this video, check out some of the other ones we have been doing. Up here is our series on the Tour of Brisbane, the most recent NRS race. And down here, guys, as I point at the bike, is my little version of what's been going on with disc brakes and the myths surrounding them. Click over here to subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you soon.